Good morning. It's a Monday, June the 11th. We just finished watching Dustin Johnson win his first tournament in a while after coming back from injuries. Kudos to him. Not really what I want to talk about yet this morning. In 1985, I met Tom Tomasello, and he changed everything. He changed the way I saw the golf swing and the way I thought about the golf swing. I wish that back then that I would have known what questions to ask him when he was sitting in front of me. Over even just the last month, I've gotten so many emails and phone calls with extremely disgruntled golfers. Something's happening out there that the golfing world is starting to catch on to, that you've been getting the really bad information that's not good. See, before that, I had this feel that it was that in general the golfing world actually thought they had the correct information, they just couldn't do it. But just over the last 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, I'm starting to recognize there's more and more people out there that are starting to understand that no, the information you've been getting is wrong, or it is half-truths, it is not full and complete, and no, getting half the information does not make it simple. It makes it incomplete, therefore probably, most likely, ineffective. This has been terrific for me. It's gotten my hopes up that, before I thought I was just kind of talking to a brick wall and says, there's nothing. Not true. There's more and more people all the time starting to realize that. I'll give you a couple examples, but before I give you the examples, I really dislike on my YouTube accounts or my email when somebody will just call or email and say, well, that's wrong. I have no trouble if somebody wants to tell me why it's wrong. If somebody's got a better way, I don't have a problem with that. As a matter of fact, I get up every day hoping that I find a better way. I'm hoping that something comes to me that I can figure out a way to say it to you that you get it quicker. So therefore, I guess what I'm saying to you is I don't want to stand here and just say others are wrong without telling you why they're wrong, or showing you why they're wrong, or showing you how to get better faster. Well, for that, you can go to my online academy. That's where I post everything. That's where everything that I get goes on, so you can always go to that. But for the YouTube clip, I heard Peter Costas, 2 weeks ago when Tiger won, talking about how he was pushing up on his right foot and his left shoulder was rising. Now to Peter Costas's defense, I've done a lot of television. I've been where he's been, and I've had the little clip in my ear where the guy says, you got 10 seconds, say something smart. So not for a minute am I saying that Peter Costas probably wouldn't say it different if he had, like I do, 7 or 8 or 9 minutes to say it. So in his defense, let's get that straight. But there's no way that Tiger is pushing up, off, or on his right foot and his left shoulder is rising, unless you were saying it's happening well after impact. Now I can buy that. Well, here's why. If Tiger's angle of attack, or any golfer's angle of attack, is downwards onto the golf ball, I think it's logical to suggest that somewhere he's got to start coming up. Here's our dilemma. You and nobody else in the world's eyes work fast enough to see what's actually going on. That's why in the year 2012, we're still not getting any better than we were 50 years ago, or very, very slightly, if at all. We keep hoping that we're going to see something on a camera, and we just can't get through our heads that your eyes aren't fast enough to pick it up. It looks like, to the human eye, I'm assuming, that he's doing it before impact, where the truth is he's doing it after impact. Makes all the difference in the world. So if Tiger and anybody that's any good, if their angle of attack onto the golf ball is downwards, it seems to reason that somewhere after impact they got to start coming up. But if that guy analyzing the swing suggest to you or lead you to believe that he's doing it before impact, I know what I'm going to be fixing all next week. I'm going to be fixing a whole entourage of people trying to come up before impact. Again, to Peter Costas's defense, he's only got a time frame to give a piece of information. The time frame is nowhere near long enough. And I would suggest that this is what's been going on in history. Book publishers say you got to do it in this many pages, else we won't sell it. Or somebody says, well, can we make it easier? Or somebody gives you a quick piece of information that's only half right. It's just been a continuous thing down through the last 20, 30, 40 years, and we've picked up on that and we've done it. Whereas then the next problem is that somehow, some way, you've been led to believe that getting the total information is the hard way, where in fact it's the only way. I don't care how much you practice the wrong information, it's never going to work with any consistency. And I don't buy into that the full piece of information is harder to do than the half piece of information. Like, I'll give you couple of my biggest pet peeves. Somebody saying retain your spine angle. Well, first off, 99% of you and I out there have no idea what the guy just said, but it sounded pretty cool. So we regurgitate it. It's true. Spine angle should be retained, but needs a better explanation. How do you drop the club to the inside and retain your spine angle? How can drop the club inside and keep the club out in front of you? How can they both be correct? There's so much conflicting information out there, it's incredible. Like keeping your head down. I did a thing like that a week or so ago, keeping your head down. Nobody that's any good keeps their head down. Keeping the putter low to the ground, what's the big deal there? That's not that hard to do. I mean, there's so many things out there. Okay, so let's wrap this up because I don't want to bore you. What's really, truly the truth is that if you're not succeeding, it's because you have the wrong information. It is not because you're not good enough. It is highly probable that it's not because you're not practicing enough. Something's going on in the world of golf right now that more and more and more people are starting to catch on to the possibility of what I'm saying here is correct. If that tweaks your interest, again, this is how I make my living, so don't begrudge me for it. Go to my online academy. I put it on there. I put the YouTube clips up. I think if I can get you to raise the correct questions like I wish I could have done when I was with Tom Tomasello, you could exponentially increase the speed at which you get it. Final thought. If you have the correct information, getting it isn't that hard. Learning how to keep it is the real trick.